The second half of your trip down the Grand Canyon goes from Phantom Ranch to Lava Falls. This is the immediate rapid that you enter when you leave Phantom Ranch. In about a mile, you'll reach one of the most interesting and dangerous rapids I've ever been on, Horn. There's a wave on Horn that is different than any wave I've ever seen. There's the tongue where you're supposed to go down the chute, but then you hit this wave that's going sideways. I've never seen a wave go sideways. And so when you hit it, it blasts you left or right, not forward or back. So you're not sure of how you're going to get hit. And here's the first boater going down, and he handles it pretty well. He does turn over, but he rolls the boat back up. Now, this dark water is the chute, and here comes the second boat. And you can see just blasted by the Horn wave, and he's over. And watch the guy on the bank. He'll start waving because this wave knocked the guy out of the boat. It not only turned him over, but knocked him out of the boat. So that guy's waving. There he goes waving. And so now you go downriver, and then there's Granite. And here's Granite Canyon. And one of the most interesting shots that you'll see of the river is entering the rapids. The problem is, at the river level, you don't know where the chute is. You don't know where the black tongue is that you can safely go down. So and it's not easy to turn so rapidly on such a wide space. So here comes, look at the girl on the bank. She's a red lobster. If you don't take enough sunscreen and wear enough clothes, that's how you wind up on the Grand Canyon, like a red lobster. Here comes the kayak flying down through Granite. It's just a bundle of water, wave after wave, really high waves. This guy's trying to do some funny stuff with the boat, but the waves are just too strong and the water's too massive to get control of it. So all you really have to do is ride it out. Here he is down at the bottom of the chute. Here he is trying to climb back up and ferry across. Oh, nuts. This guy's just trying to play with the wave, spin his boat, paddle upstream, ferry across the river. Here's me in the C1. The difference here is in a kayak, you're sitting on the bottom of the boat. In a canoe, you're sitting on a bar or a little seat, and you've got your feet tucked underneath you, and you only have a blade paddle on one side of the boat. You're also sitting higher in the boat, so it's much more difficult to run these rapids because the wave is really hitting you in the chest, and you don't have a boat in front of you that's splitting the wave. Now, Hermit was supposed to be just a glorious ride, and sure enough, all there was 8-foot waves, and you could literally sit there and just go up and down in these glorious waves, and there was so much water, the momentum would just carry you downriver. It wasn't going to turn you over. It's just like a roller coaster ride, and you just enjoy every minute of it. You do want to keep a blade handy to brace. Here I am again in the C1 canoe, one-man canoe. Notice the paddle's only on one side, and I'm sitting much higher because I'm sitting on a bar, which is like a seat inside the canoe, where the kayak is right at the bottom of the boat. But notice the boat is just going up and down in these 6-foot waves. Here comes a raft, And notice the black tongue. That's the spot at the top of the rapids that doesn't have any waves. And that's what you aim for when you're trying to go down these rapids. He's right in the tongue right now. And now he can just float on down and avoid all the bad stuff to his right and left. And this is what it looks like when you're in the raft and just riding out the waves. Little bumpy. Crystal is the most dangerous rapid on the Grand Canyon. Here's the raft going into Crystal. It was formed by a landslide, and rocks came down and fully crossed the river. So there are rocks everywhere in this rapid, and the water's rather shallow. But that raft is handling it well, and he's just gliding through it. But you'll watch the kayaks now, and they'll have a much more difficult time. Notice the other raft is already down the river and hanging around for safety. Here comes the yellow kayak, and just watch the size of these waves, and they're just hitting him in the face. And there goes the boat up and over and end for end. Can't find it, and finally he comes up. That's why if you paddle the Grand Canyon, you have to have a deadly roll. You just have to have a roll that's going to work every time. And here comes the red kayak, and he hits, there's the wave, and he hits that back curler, and it just stops the boat. I believe this was David Heike, and the boat goes over. The thing that makes the Grand Canyon so difficult is usually in the East Coast, you'll get through one wave and you're done, no problem. But in the Grand Canyon, you hit these rapids that are about a mile long, and you got for a whole mile, you have rapids. We got to go swimming in a small canyon. Luckily that the guides knew where this stuff was, and we hiked up to these swimming holes. And here's what it looks like paddling the C1 if you're down at the river height. So the camera is in the raft, bouncing up and down, and you notice how much the canoe is bouncing up and down. Losing sight of the canoe is just simply, this shows you the size of these waves and the frantic paddling I'm doing as I'm going through it. This continues, and because I am paddling and trying to push the boat, I catch up with the rafts, and then they're crowding the tongue, and so I have to go to the more dangerous area. When you have some time off, you go hiking in the canyon, and you go climbing on rocks, and these paths are everywhere. And again, we get to go to a swimming hole, which are nice breaks from all that paddling. Here you have a nice view of the canyon, about halfway between Phantom Ranch and Lava Falls. Here comes a raft. Now watch what it'll try to do. It'll try to take this raft right down the tongue. So here you are. Take the boat right in the black water and make sure the white is to your right and left. And then you just nice and easily just ride out the waves. You don't want to be to the right or left of the tongue, because that's where the curlers are and the all the things that will turn you over. Here's a nice view of the canyon. That was the thing about the canyon. You could just enjoy every minute of it. Dubendorf is an interesting rapid. Here comes the yellow boat. He's going down the tongue. You can see that. And then he hits the first wave and hits the second wave. He's now got the third wave. And as long as he's got his paddle pushing him through these waves, he's going to do all right. And there he is, still upright and all the way down through Dubendorf. The whole problem with the Grand Canyon is the first wave slows you up. So when you hit the second wave, you're going slowly, and because you're going so slowly, you have the energy. The wave has the energy to turn you over. Whereas in the East Coast, you can pump your way through a wave and get your speed back up before you hit the second wave. But the Grand Canyon is just maybe 15 waves in each rapid, continuously one after another. Most of the rapids are about a half mile long. You can see this here. It's about a half mile long rapid, and but some of them are a mile long, like Crystal, the one up above. And you go down and just paddle out. And here is Havasu Falls, and that's my mother on the bank. Yes, my 60-year-old mother was in the raft for the entire trip. And so they let any age on the rafts, and they're great rides. She had a good time. Now she's going hiking up in the side canyon. Upset Rapid is a really scary one. A person died, and here's the yellow raft staying away from the middle of the river because there's no wave there. It just turns you over. Notice the kayak is turned over, but there wasn't anything to tell you. It was difficult, and that's what happened to that raft where the person died. It turned the raft over. The river is perfectly flat. There's no white water up at that end. You just come over and eat you up. This is Lava Falls. And here's the raft coming down. And this is considered the most dangerous rapid on the river because all the water gets slammed into this rock right here. And the canoes and kayaks really take it the worst. The water pushes you to the right and eventually pushes you into the wall and keeps you there. It doesn't let you go. Here's another raft. These rafts were all filled with water, and that was counterintuitive. But the more weight you had in the boat, the better it was to get through these waves. So the guys splashed all kinds of water to get them in there. About half of us didn't run lava for a variety of reasons. But here comes the yellow boat, and he sure did ride it out. Here he's going through the waves, and notice how it stops him, and he can't get his speed back up. But there he goes over. He's desperately trying to get away from that rock on the right-hand side. And luckily, by doing what he did to try to roll the boat, he actually moved himself to the left. Now here comes another boat. And remember, he's got to stay to the left of this rock. Here he goes through the tongue. Notice he's turned his boat. He's now driving. There it goes. He drives to the left, and he makes it. Well done. And here comes the third boat trying to run lava. I know of at least one person that was slammed up against those rocks and was held there about 2 minutes. And luckily he was upright, but it was very dangerous. He couldn't get out. The water was just holding him against that rock. Look at the guy holding up his paddle, cheering that he made it. And here's below lava, and there are the rafts coming down after they ran lava. And then you paddle for about a day and a half, and you take out at the end of the run. That's it, Dennis.